Good evening. My name is Scott Allison, and this is day one, the intro for the 7-day challenge. So I'm sorry, I was just clicking on a couple scenes there. So, anyways, I am Scott Allison, and as part of the 7-day challenge at the Creators Guild, I have been asked to participate. So I'm participating, and I'm going to introduce myself. But before I do, if you'll go and check out the Creators Guild, creatorsguild.app, join the guild. For those of us that love to create, we're all there from all over the world, and getting together and just talking about creating content, giving feedback to each other, taking the 7-day challenge, which is also at thecreatortoolkit.com, where it's basically a way for new creators to get started or existing creators to get better. And it's all free. So come and check it out. We'd really love to have you guys there. Basically, who am I? My name is Scott Allison. I was born and raised in Houston, Texas. So I am what they say, I'm a rarity in the Houston area. I'm a native. That doesn't happen too often. Houston's a very transient town. And so as a result, people are like from all over the place. In fact, we have a lot of people here from Pittsburgh for some reason. I don't know why. But that's neither here nor there. I was born in 1972, so that makes me a child of the 70s and the 80s. So the 80s were my decade, as you can tell from the opening music. I'm a Houston Homer sports fan, so meaning I love all my Houston teams, despite the fact that Deshaun Watson is probably going down. Despite the fact that we lost all our players on the Rockets, the Astros still have given me some hope, even though they were caught kind of cheating. So it's what it's like to live in Houston as a Houston sports fan. So a little bit about myself. Like I said, I was born and raised in Houston, and I am a Taurus. I was born in May, so that makes me a little stubborn, or so they say, if you believe in that sort of stuff. I'm married. I've been married for 20 years as of March 31st. Whoop, whoop. And I have 3 children, 3 boys. My youngest one is 13. My middle one is 17. My oldest is 23, 24. Holy moly, I'm old. And so I got interested in streaming because during the pandemic last year, we were locked down and my wife and I like to do karaoke. We like to go hang out with our friends and do karaoke. And so I decided, hey, let's do just karaoke at home. So we did, and it was kind of fun. And then I was like, wow, what'd be really cool is if we could Facebook Live this for our friends and family, specifically our friends. And so I, basically hooked up a camera and kind of tinkered around with some software here and there, and we Facebook Lived it. And I got the bug to stream. I was like, wow, this is actually a lot of fun. And we got a lot of requests and a lot of people connecting with us. Some people getting upset when we weren't streaming. And so that was a lot of fun. And so I started digging into it deeper. My wife, who is a licensed professional counselor, was just starting to put together her business. And she's going to be an online therapist, basically, an online counselor, which means she's only going to do telehealth. So she can do virtual counseling sessions. And I was like, wow, I could maybe level up her game and get her set up with some of the stuff I learned using, during our karaoke sessions, our live streaming karaoke sessions. So I started doing a lot of research. I had a bunch of different places, streams basically, a bunch of different channels on YouTube, a bunch of Facebook groups. I looked at a bunch of different software, and I stumbled across the Impartial Geek, David Foster. He is responsible for creating the Creators Guild, and I was like, I like the way this guy talks. He kind of reminds me of me a little bit, kind of, no nonsense, being uniquely, himself, or being unapologetically himself, and I realized that's the kind of pro live streamer that I want to attach myself with. So when he started the Creators Guild, I went right with them, and next thing you know, I'm creating content. He pushed me over the edge, and but it's funny because I wasn't going to create content originally. I was doing this all for my wife's business. So as a result, I've got her set up with a nice little studio with some lighting, with this camera, which we are sharing. So, I take it up to her office when she needs it. I bring it down to here when I'm using it. So eventually I'm going to have to get my own because I'm streaming more than she is, because she's not streaming yet at all. She hasn't taken a client yet, but she's ready. So she's ready. So she's going to be doing her telehealth with this type of setup, not with the fancy, colorful lighting or the crazy stuff behind me, but she's going to be streaming, doing her telehealth calls, and she's also going to do videos and stuff, and I'm going to help her out with that. But then I just applied all of that when I built hers out to my own studio. So, anyways, that's a little bit about how I got started streaming. What else about me? I like to write, play video games, hang out with my boys, and watch Marvel movies and science, sci-fi with my middle son and my oldest son. My youngest son's not too into sci-fi, but they do like the Marvel stuff. All of them love the Marvel stuff, and anything comic book related or computer or video game related. And me personally, I like to travel with my wife and with my family. I like to go on road trips. I've been to only 2 other countries besides the United States, Mexico, which I guess in Texas sort of counts, and I went to Italy. I did a trip with my wife to Italy. She was singing with her church choir all around Italy. We went to Florence. We went to Assisi. She sang in the chapel there in Assisi. And we went to Rome, where she sang in the Vatican for the papal mass at the beginning of the year, that we went. So it was like the very first papal mass of the year. So that was really, really awesome. If you've never been to Italy, those 3 places I went to, Florence was by far the most awesome. Assisi was the most just amazing. You'll go look up Assisi and you'll see what I mean. And Rome was a little disappointing. It wasn't what I was expecting. When you think of Rome, you think grandiose, and it just wasn't as grandiose as I thought it was going to be. It was cool. I mean, don't get me wrong, but after going to Florence and Assisi, Rome was kind of a little bit of a letdown. So, it is what it is. But I someday would like to go back. So my heritage is actually I'm half Scottish, and half a bunch of other stuff. Half Scottish. Yeah, my dad wanted to call me Scott because he's from Scotland. So my mom wanted to call me James after my dad, and so they decided to get together and say, okay, well, we'll call him Scott, and that's my middle name now. So I'm half Scottish, and I have tons of family in Scotland that I've only met like one of my cousins. I met my granddad, but that's it. I haven't met any of my other cousins or extended cousins or 6 cousins or whatever. There's so many over there. I can't even keep count anymore. So that's on my bucket list, is to head to Scotland, take my family with me, do a picture of me and the boys all in kilts, my wife dressed up in the tartan, and us taking a picture in front of a cool Scottish castle, and me wielding a sword and saying, "There can be only one." Just kidding. That's a great movie, though. If you haven't seen it, it's a great movie. Yeah, I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to certain stuff. Oh, my career, I've been in IT for the last 24 years now. So almost 25 years I've been in IT. So I was around, the beginning of, or right after Windows 95 took off, and I got into IT then, and I haven't looked back. I've done system administration. I've done desktop support. I've done software support for a software company, and now I work for a very large corporation. I call them my corporate overlords. I won't mention the name of the company, but I do IT for them, specifically systems and application monitoring. And yeah, so that's what I'm doing. My ambition really is to eventually break free of my corporate overlords and do something in this realm. So something maybe to do with studio builds or something like that. In fact, my business idea is to actually cater to entrepreneurs and specifically online therapists and doctors, people that want to do telehealth, get them set up within their budget, with a one-person setup where they can have like just excellent quality video for their patients, or if they want to double it up and use it for their, for video creation, or triple it up and use it for their podcasting, whatever the case may be. So that's something I'm really considering doing. So taking all these lessons learned with setting up my wife's office and her setup, to setting up mine, to all the knowledge I've gleaned off of the Creators Guild, and from just lots and lots of study and work. So so eventually I'd like to break free, be beholden to no one but myself. So that's ultimately my dream. Hey, Politech. So we've got Alex McDonald stopped in on my live stream. That's pretty cool. My dad was a Scot also. Mother is Welsh. I'm kind of a mutt. So my mom's side of the family just is kind of like Heinz 57. I don't really know what all's there. There's a lot. It's my mom's family on that side of the family has been in the United States since, I don't know, the beginning. I have no clue. But my dad was, he moved here when he was in his 20s. And he never looked back. He never went. Well, he always went back to Scotland quite regularly to hang out with the family, but he loved it here so much. In fact, he loves Texas so much, or he loved Texas so much. He's no longer with us. But he loved Texas so much that on his tombstone it said, "Born a Scotsman, died a Texan." And it's like, oh, that's so awesome. So maybe I'll end up doing the other way. Maybe I'll end up moving to Scotland someday and like say, "Born a Texan, died a Scotsman." Either way, this is my intro video, so I don't really have much more to say. I'm trying to think, what else is there about me that you may or may not know? Like I said, I do like to write, play video games, do the Marvel thing, I'm a big movie buff. I watch a lot of movies, and I have seen a lot of movies, and I retain those movies. I read a lot as well. Well, not as much as I used to, but I used to read quite a bit. And I ran the gamut. It was science fiction and fantasy and horror. Horror was kind of my favorite genre. In fact, a lot of my stories are kind of sci-fi / horror / fantasy that I've written, but never been published. Maybe one day I'll get published, but that's not the biggest dream. Again, my biggest dream is to go to Scotland and to be free from my corporate overlords. So anyways, that's all I had today for the day 1 of the 7-day challenge. If you haven't signed up yet, once I showed you this video, why haven't you? Go and check it out. CreatorsGuild.app or CreatorToolkit.com. Take the 7-day challenge yourself. Push yourself. Get some feedback. Just get out there and get creating. It's a lot of fun. The Creators Guild is awesome. And great. That's really all I had to say about that. Y'all have a wonderful evening, and I will catch you on day number 2. Peace out.